Hopefully. Hopefully that's us live. Oh, I think so. So's I
Well,
do.
it's saying that I'm live. It's live for me, so I guess so.
Okay, good.
Danker is already waiting. What a surprise!
Oh, really? Howdy, Digger. I
I have
hope
to start calling Danker the eager one.
on time. No, early.
No,
Actually,
ego is definitely.
I was gonna say, I had a teacher who used to say it's better to be 3 hours early than 3 minutes late. I'm not sure I agree with that sentiment, but
No,
yeah,
I actually 100% agree with sentiment. 100%.
right.
If you're 30 seconds late, you might as well be an hour late.
No, never.
Yes, yes.
It's like I'm always late
I
or something.
I'd rather be an hour early than 2 minutes late.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I can't stand being late. It absolutely annoys me.
Ugh.
Yes, Danker is now known as Rapid Review's Eager
Ah,
Beaver.
I like that. I like that. I am redeeming my own glass.
So what is it today?
It's a prosecco.
Of course it is. I heard the fizz, so I knew
Yeah.
something. Oh look, it's co-op.
Yes. Co-op
Someone's gone cheap.
co-op delivers alcohol to me. So
Not a thing that I think is a good idea.
That's a
Although
great
he did just
idea.
redeem the glass of wine for you.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Danker.
I feel better about myself if the audience redeems it rather than me having to do it myself.
Yes.
Makes me feel
Seems
like less of an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh,
don't drink, my audience encourages me to do
that's
so.
it. Yep. No blame on me. Don't put the blame on me.
uh,
Uh,
no,
I have lipstick
I
on my
will,
mug.
of course.
Only human after all. Don't put your blame on me.
Yes.
At least most
I
people
feel
think
like
I'm
there
human.
should be one more final news story, but I don't know. Oh, there we go. We've got one final news story. Sweet. Happened today, so.
Oh, right. Well, that's good. I wonder if I just froze us. I might have accidentally froze us. No, I don't think I did. Hello, Nana. How are you? Oh, Nana watched the 2001 Tomb Raider this week. It was really bad. It's bad, but I think that it's the one with Angelina Jolie, right?
Correct.
I actually think she was
It,
a decent Laura.
she's actually perfect casting for Lara Croft,
Yeah,
except for being American.
yeah. She did try though. She tried to put
She
on that
did, and it was
posh
awful.
accent. Yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible.
But then,
I'm actually going to go and look at the cast list for this because I
yeah.
remember there being a very solid cast to it.
Danker says, any of you played a game from Spike Chungsoft called, is it Al or AI Somnium? Actually, a good story with so many different endings. I have not heard of that. I will definitely look into that. I like that. And it says, yeah, the accent was bad. Yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but I did really. Oh, AI. Okay.
Yeah.
AI Somnium. Okay, that's
Uh,
cool. That's
oh,
cool.
damn. Already looking at it.
Mm.
Angelina Jolie, John Voight,
Yeah, that's her
Ian
dad.
Glenn, Noah Taylor, Daniel Craig, Richard Johnson. Um, there's a few in there. There's a few decent people. I'm pretty sure the sequel
Oh,
had a good cast as well.
Dick Johnson. What a name. And it says her wardrobe was great in that film, though. It was absolutely perfect. Just the film was
Um,
bad. Well, I won't say it was bad. It was just middling. It just wasn't.
some of the set pieces were really good to it though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had like all the all
The
this.
right ideas.
Yeah, and it just didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
just didn't come together because it was clunky and terrible.
That's what she said.
The yeah, the through line of the plot was non-existent.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, it was an early attempt at a video game movie,
Yes.
which were all bad. They just were. They just were.
Do you know what the male equivalent of Tomb Raider would be?
The one they just did with Spider-Man boy.
Spider-Man boy. Yeah, Uncharted.
That one.
No,
Ah. Yeah,
I'm
Nana
not even
says,
gonna say. I'm not even gonna say the joke. It's quite terrible.
"Oh dear."
No, I'm not saying it.
Are you
I'll
sure?
leave that one up to the imagination.
Nana says, "Yeah, the potential was there, but the execution was pretty bad." Yes, it was.
A sentiment I would say for Hollywood
That's true.
as a whole, probably over the last 10 years.
Yes. Yes. I might have to turn
In
my heater on.
fact, sometimes I would say the potential's not even there either.
Yeah. Depends on what they're going for.
Yes,
Let me know if the heater is.
I can hear it, but it's not overbearing.
It's very cold in this. I was gonna say dungeon. I'm not in a dungeon. I'm in a basement.
I'm in a sex dungeon.
Ah. Nope. 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 I'm not
Mm,
gonna make the joke I was gonna make. Uh,
no, probably a good thing because I
yeah.
think that's me and you now have backed out of a joke.
Yeah. Exactly. That's I had something witty. It's just gone. Danger says, to be fair, Paramount know how to do a decent video game adaptation. Tomb Raider in the thousands and Sonic in the 20s or 2000s.
In the
Oh
2020s.
yeah, the 2020s. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's very true. Nana says, I will say though, I know Pete said that if they do it again, they should get Haley Atwell to play Laura.
This is based on the Amazon TV show that was potentially
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
possibly being cancelled.
Right.
Well, because Phoebe Waller-Bridge might not
Yeah.
be carrying on forward with it. By the way, I'm going to come back to it now because finally finished it.
Uh huh.
Fleabag kind of sucks.
It sucks.
Honestly,
It
it really
sucks.
sucks. Honestly, it's not good, is it?
I'm sure it sucks for different reasons between the both of us, but I think we both can come to the conclusion that it sucks. Yeah.
For me, there is only one likable character in the entirety of the show,
Mhm.
and actually, he's a character that gets completely dicked over by her anyway,
Right?
in more than one way.
Yeah.
It's the priest.
Yeah. Yeah. And even he has moments where you're like, dude, I can't believe you're, doing that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I have to absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, the annoying thing about it, and I would say, sorry, spoilers for a show that's 10 years old at this point,
Right?
however long it is.
Yeah.
Um, she does all these terrible things
Yes. Yes.
and gets no repercussions for any of them.
Yeah.
She constantly succeeds. Her restaurant does well. She has a good relationship with her sister in the end. She has
Yeah.
a good relationship with her dad in the end. You know, and it's just, you know, sorry if this is a bit much, but you were the reason your friend committed suicide.
Yeah. I mean, I just yeah. Yeah. I don't like it.
Uh,
I don't like
Sorry
it.
to say it. I'm gonna say it, and I don't care. It's feminist propaganda.
Well, okay, now I don't agree with that, obviously, but
It
as
is because it's like, oh, I can do all these terrible things, but get away scot free because I'm a woman.
no, that has nothing to do with
Yes, it is.
feminism.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's where we're gonna fundamentally disagree, but that's why we have a show. But
Yeah,
Fleabag
we
is
we
a
can we can
bad
agree to
show.
disagree on that.
Yes,
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, she is a dick.
she's absolute dick. Now, see, we can agree on that 100%.
Yeah, there are some. I will admit though, there are a couple of very funny moments in it.
Well, see, that's the thing, and that's what kind of threw me off with her doing, Tomb Raider or whatever. There
Yeah,
are moments, that are it's comedy and they are genuinely funny, but
yeah.
she and Taki Waiti or however you say his name, um,
Taika Waititi.
that they keep trying to do these emotional scenes without earning it, and then switch. Then they
And
go right back to making you laugh.
but also I don't know if they actually genuinely understand human psyche and the human emotion, like the complex spectrum that it is.
I could agree with that. I really really could. Um, Welcome to our television talk.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so one of the funny moments in it is actually oh, it's when she's talking to the lawyer and she's like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh, he's going to be really bad at sex. He's going to be really bad at sex," and then she ends up having sex with him. He's like, "He's really good at sex."
Oh my goodness.
That is quite funny. And when she's talking to the priest outside, or when she's talking to the priest, and then the
Yeah.
guy, her booty call comes, and
Yes.
it's like 9 times.
So weird.
So I mean, there are some quite funny moments in it. It's just let down by a terrible script, a terrible plot, a terrible premise, and terrible characters.
Yes. Which we'll totally disagree on this, but I'm going to say it anyway. That's why I can't watch Breaking Bad. Bad. I can't stand anybody.
I would say I
Maybe
agree to
Walt
a
Jr.
certain extent. There is Walt Jr. is probably the only one that is truly innocent throughout the whole thing, because
Yeah.
every single person does terrible things for their own means.
I
But there is one character in there who acts bad throughout the most of the time, probably shouldn't be in the position he's in most of the time, and he gets screwed over more times than anybody throughout the entire show. That actually, when he does get a payoff at the end, it does feel earned.
Oh right. Which one?
Jesse.
Mm. Right. Right.
El Camino is not very good though.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah, don't like they wanted to continue it on and was
right.
like, oh, we need to flesh out this part of the story that didn't get its resolution. It's like, okay, fine. First of all, it's probably too many years after the fact,
Right.
and secondly, it's far too long and drawn out and didn't need to be told. Like you can imply most of what happened at the end of it from the ending
Right.
itself. Is like he drives off into the suns, like the ending, he drives off into the sunset, does his own thing, gets away from all this terribleness.
Right.
Fine. But then they go and explain it. It's like, here's a conversation that happened in the show, but we never actually showed in the show, but, this is giving context to why we did this.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous Anyway.
Yeah, we're 12 minutes in. All we've done is talk about
I
TVs.
know, I've got to go and check this file anyway, so.
All right, I'll read chat and talk to
Cool.
chat and have fun with chat. Nana says if she does well in the animated series, I think she should at least try that. Also, man, when is the next Tomb Raider game? Lol. Dang if I know. They have done nothing with that since leaving Square Enix. Yes, I mean they did the re-release of all of them or whatever. I don't remember. I have a lot to talk about later about games because I play games.
We might have a bit to talk about. Did you say anything about when's the next Tomb Raider game?
I said I ain't got no idea.
Okay, well,
In my best Texas
Uncharted
accent.
Uncharted is not coming back either.
Oh right, that's right. I saw that somewhere.
Well, I think people want Uncharted back, but unfortunately, with no Amy Hennig at the helm, it will be bad.
Who is an absolute genius, and anyway, we won't get into that.
Yeah.
We have shows dedicated to that.
Well, and it is also the fact that people are finally coming out and going, oh look, Amy Hennig, who's been around in the industry for a long time. What did she do before Uncharted? Oh wait, it was Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, no female talent in the gaming industry. Yeah, I call bull crap to that because that was happening in the late 90s.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Don't let feminist frequency tell you that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now that we can agree on. That point we definitely can agree on. Some of my least favorite people involved in that.
Anita Sarkeesian, the grifter. The actor, the quite literal grifter.
Yes.
Zoe Quinn, the unaliver.
Yes. Okay. Do we want to get started now that it's been nearly 15 minutes?
I had to finish my tea.
Yeah, well, I'm still.
God, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Been a long day. Right. Okay. What was this? 213?
Yep.
213. 214. Okay. So we are good to go. So let's start in 3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 213. That's 213, our lucky number, hopefully. I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
It might be unlucky to some, 213, but hello, everyone.
Well, fingers crossed, everything crossed that this is a lucky show for it. We're gonna get lucky. Let's get lucky.
Where then dice at?
Yeah. Uh,
I want to get on the craps tables.
21's my game, and nope, not gonna make that joke. Okay. Cause that me. Nope. I'm gonna be a good
I
girl.
only no, I'm not going to go there either.
I know. I'm trying
It's
to be
quite
so good.
yeah.
But you could join all this crazy nonsensical fun over in www.twitch.tv/rap reviews.
You
We
nearly
would
got
love.
it wrong.
What?
You nearly got it wrong.
I know. I was trying to pretend like it was intentional. It wasn't intentional. But we would love to see your shiny happy face here. Because we are shiny
I'm
happy
not
people.
sure how that works. That doesn't. We can't see them. They can see us.
I can just feel them from the chat. Ooh,
The energy.
that sounded a bit more pervy than I meant. Yeah, I meant the energy. I didn't mean like I could actually fill them up. But who knows?
Are we
Maybe.
now? Are we now? Are we now gonna call this? I can feel the chat.
Yes.
Cool. It's done so far until something better comes up.
Feel good. Boop boop. Anyway, yeah, so every week I like to start with asking guests if we have them. And we don't have guests this week. You know what though? We've got a lot of guests coming up over the next few weeks.
We actually do. I need to
I'm
talk to you
excited
about
about
that
that.
after the show to
Yeah, I've got.
discuss another step to it.
Okay, I also have another suggestion for another guest, but that's business stuff. We'll deal with that behind the curtain.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That's fine.
But I do like to ask to get the ball rolling and just get the good vibes a flowing.
You missed an opportunity to say to get the world rotating like a
Oh,
catenary rolling up.
yes, that. Just pretend I said that. Pete, how's your week been? What you been playing?
Exhausting.
You've been playing
Moving on.
exhausting.
No, I'm joking. No, so it's been a very busy week this week. Work and all that. It's quietened down a lot in work side of things, thank goodness, because it's been crazy the last few weeks.
Right.
Been out to for the last few days, just doing other stuff like admin life stuff. But today I went out and did some go-karting, which was kind of cool. So I might be a little low energy because my adrenaline's completely shot.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing to do in slippery conditions with go-kart tires that got no traction on them whatsoever.
Oh dear.
I thought I might die at one point.
Well, that's part of the fun.
Yes, so you could have easily explained if there was no show tonight because I was either one in the hospital or two dead.
There you go. Show must go on, Pete. I'll do it from your
I know,
hotel,
and
your
it did.
hotel room,
I
your
still,
hospital bed.
yeah, and I rushed home to make sure that I could get back to do this. So, yeah, so feeling very tired and drained, but had a really good day. It was good fun. But let's talk about games because I have played not a lot.
Uh-huh.
So I'll talk briefly about the another ongoing game that I keep playing. Street Fighter 6. Got another half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour of playing more Terry.
Right.
I do really like Terry Bogard. I think I'm gonna have to drop him though because I'm really bad with him.
Oh no.
I'm really bad. The problem that I find is that it's quite difficult. He's very, very difficult to use because obviously the chaining of
Right.
moves.
Yeah, we talked
But you
about
have
that.
to
Yeah.
wait until the fact that you actually connect. You can't wait until you connect with a move to then input the move. You have to preempt it. So if you miss or it's blocked, you're going to throw out another random move that's going to get blocked and you get punished pretty badly for it. So, and I've now figured out what his weakness is.
Right. Okay.
So he's got not a bad defense. He's got a really good offense game. Or his health is low, really low. So there were a couple of moments where I was playing online, and you eat a couple of combos, that's it. You're basically done. You're really done. And whilst he has a get off me EX move with his rising tackle, it is it's not the best because it's only the EX or the overdrive version, what they call EXs now, that actually has the get off me pressure, like removing the pressure.
Ah, right, okay.
So if you're in the burnout stage or if you're low on health, because or say low on health, you're low on overdrive bot gauge,
Yeah.
because you have to use it to block. You're gonna either go into burnout or you're gonna eat another combo, and it could ruin you in that
Right.
sense. So yeah, he's tough to use. So I'm considering dropping him and going back to Kimberly, but I might stick with him. I might, because character loyalties and all that kind of is annoying. I really like the Fatal
uh,
Fury games and
yeah, I know
King of
you do.
Fighters, but and I like Terry as a character, but my god, is he hard to use in this game.
Oh, goodness.
I think once you get the hang of his combo game, he could end up being quite. I wouldn't say dominant. I would say he'd be a strong mid-tier game,
Right.
mid-tier character. Maybe top middle, but nothing more than that.
Right.
Okay, so there is one main game that I've been playing this week, and yeah, I've just seen that. Thank you. So, so the main game that I played, and this is mostly because this has been an ongoing discussion with people at work for about 2 years now.
Mm,
The sessions stopped for a long time, and I finally got in on one of them. I've returned to an old classic, an old favourite, let's say,
okay.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
So
goodness.
I've joined some sessions and played it online with a few people at work, and some of those people are really good. They're really good.
That's.
So whilst it gave me a good chance to try out a lot of the tracks that I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
actually played since they've been added. So the entire wave of the booster packs, I've barely played them apart from just doing a couple of time trials on them.
Right.
Some of them were really good. Some of the ones that I did play were really enjoyable, like N64 Calamari Desert. Um, so how it was before, you used to just race around, the desert track
Right.
once in 3 laps. They've actually sectioned it off now, so it's now kind of like other tracks like N64 Rainbow Road, given it a redesign
Right.
and made it in sectors.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
and rather than actually going around the outside, there is one section where you go through the mountain and actually onto the train track.
That's insane.
It is very insane, and yeah, I actually really like the redesign of the course. To be fair, it's a very nice change to it, and I think a lot of the courses that seem to have gotten changed are the N64 ones, because N64 Rainbow Road is also very similar, which I think it's probably because the lengths of the tracks, they've had to sort of change them a little bit. But I do really like them. Um,
Uh,
some of the Mario Kart Tour tracks I wasn't fond of, though.
pe-
Yeah, I see it.
okay.
I can't do anything about it.
Oh
So,
no.
um,
Oh no.
so yeah, I'm just not drawing attention to it. Let's move.
Ah. Okay.
Anyway, so
Nana.
yeah, Mario Kart Tour tracks wasn't as fond of. They're okay, but they're not great. Um, However, yeah, it was really fun to pick it up and play it again. I think the Switch Online seems to get a lot of flack for what it does wrong, but
Right.
actually Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the very few games that has a very stable netcode for a Nintendo game, and
Right.
I think it's pretty decent. So I'll give it all due respect. Mind you, we're probably all quite local. We all kind of play in a similar sort of area,
Right.
so the latency on it might not be that bad. So, but yeah, I have to say I really enjoyed coming back to playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe after a long time of not playing. I think it's been about 2 years, maybe three
Oh
years that I haven't
wow.
played it. So, yeah, a lot of fun, and it's now led to the Switch now being in the office because I think I'm going to be playing it a little bit more. So, it seems like Monday, after the discussions I had with the guys today that I was with, seems to be Monday might be our night to start Mario Karting. So
All right.
expect further updates in the future.
Hmm.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
that's all I've been playing this week. Kylie, let's talk
Huh.
Twitch, your streams, and what you've been playing this
Yes.
this this month specifically.
Well, obviously, it's spooky holiday time, Spooktober. Of course, over on my channel, we're more kooky than spooky. So we continued. I didn't talk about this last week. It got left out because I'm a space cadet. but we did a little indie
You
game.
played 3D Pinball Space Cadet.
Yeah, there you go. Um,
Hey.
uh, we played Imposter Factory, which I have to say the first half was very like it looks like a SNES game. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like Stardew Valley, but a little bit upscaled, just a little bit. So
Sure.
beautiful game, quirky as all, just quirky AF. So we thought, I checked with the chat. I was like, you know what? Hey, we'll just it's got murder in it. It's got blood. It's got knives. We'll just do it again next week. We'll continue it on. Uh, Ended up continuing it on, and it was just an hour and a half of storytelling and lore building, and oh my gosh, I wanted to stab my brain. So
I thought you really liked lore building.
I think if I was probably on my own, I
Yeah.
might like it, but
Oh, okay.
having chat sit there and you know have to go through it. It's just me reading text on a screen. It just
I see. Yeah.
yeah.
It might be a bit much in front of an audience. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Then we did a little RE, Resident Evil.
Wait. Don't go in that door.
Yes, and right off the bat, you could tell it's just that voice acting. It's because they didn't touch
You
that.
played the original then, yeah?
Well, the one that they redid in the early 2000s that kind of.
Hang on. Wait.
Mm,
No, they redid the voice acting for that one. If you're
it's
talking about the GameCube, PlayStation,
I
GameCube,
think it is
PS2,
I think it's
and
the
all that.
PS2 one. Yeah.
No, they actually redid that because that's
Oh,
actually a remake.
it's bad. It's still bad, but
I mean,
it
it's
might
still
be
bad, yeah.
intentionally bad at this
No,
point.
no, they might have kept it intentionally bad, but some of the lines actually did get changed, like the infamous Jill sandwich line did get
Yeah,
changed.
that wasn't in there, and that's not Chris's blood. We haven't got to that yet either. But um, it
What is that?
yeah,
Is that blood?
that's pretty much the level of it. Um, but I just hate take controls, and I hate the angle because like my poor chat, I had to tell them I don't have great depth perception anyway.
Hmm.
And then having to navigate, you know, weird Dutch angles and everything like that. So that got a bit frustrating, but
I mean, Dutch angles are always a bit awkward. I
yeah.
mean, Dutch ovens are worse, but
Oh gosh. But we got through it. Probably won't be dipping back into that. It's just I think we've moved too forward. You
uh,
know, it's a little dated.
so you're saying what you had to do to move forward is you might have needed to rotate 90 degrees.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And controlled jokes. Everyone like these?
Yes.
Enjoying these?
You
No,
yeah, you enjoying
clearly
this?
not.
I have to look up what the other game I played
The other
was.
the other game, I believe, if I
Oh,
checked my streams earlier, is Layers of Fear.
yes, which I have talked about on this very show many, many
Sorry,
times. Hmm.
before you go on to Layers of Fear,
Yes.
would it be worth recommending, rather than going back to RE1, that you go and play RE2, that you
I
play
am
RE2 Remake?
That's what we're playing next week. Is
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I am looking forward to that cuz I know that's a fun one.
Is RE4 Remake on the agenda?
Yes, it is actually. I think the only one I'm going to skip is 5 and 6. And then I'll
No,
try
you
again.
got to play 5 and 6. No, you got to play 5 at least.
Maybe we'll play 5, but we'll look at it. Um,
If you want to play 5, let me know because I'd
okay.
gladly play that co-op with you because that'd be
Okay.
friggin'
Maybe
hilarious.
we'll do that. We'll look into that.
Yeah.
But I played Layers of Fear. As I said, there's 2 games that I talk about often on here. Well, there's 3 games, and these 3 games are going to come up. Obviously, Layers of Fear, the original, not the sequel that is just awful. We're going to pretend it doesn't exist. Uh, Outlast 2, brilliant
Hmm.
game, and Silent Hill Shattered Memories, another.
Nice.
Now, all 3 of those have something very much in common. They're all psychological horrors, and they all have the kind of they're very similar in their storyline and their narrative. So Layers of Fear, I still absolutely am crazy about that game. It's probably one of the few games where the jump scare actually gets me. I don't know if chat noticed that, but it's because the jump scares are not, um, they're not telegraphed. Does that make sense? Like, us
Yeah, the problem with with a horror movie is you can often feel that they're trying to bait you into a jump scare.
exactly.
So you know one's coming. This one just sort of just comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, in the most literal sense, and but it fits with the narrative and it fits with the gameplay style. It's just there is no telegraphing it, and it can change because uh, where you choose to go in this giant house, the decisions you make, all that, it changes everything. Absolutely do still adore that game. Probably finish it offline just cause I like it. And then
Yeah.
I think that, and then my beloved Hitman,
Oh yes, I
which
forgot about Hitman.
I
I was putting together the list earlier and I didn't see that on there.
I have to say a big, and I'm gonna say it again at the end of the show, probably when we're done recording, a big thank you to all of you wonderful, beautiful, fabulous YouTubers and our wonderful, fabulous Twitch audience as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but people love my Hitman gags. I don't know why, but I'm gonna keep making them just for you. As long as you keep liking them and subscribing, I'm gonna keep making them. So I had a very good week. I know I started talking about games before I talked about the week. The week itself was amazing. I picked up, I picked up 20 subscribers this week.
Nice.
And I know you're not supposed to concentrate on numbers. I totally get that, but I'm just starting out, so numbers are a big deal to me right now.
Yeah.
As I get a little bit more established, they'll mean less. But right now, they mean a lot, and people they just do be loving my Hitman stuff. So Hitman's probably going to
Nice.
show up very commonly on Saturdays from here on out. But that's it for me. Uh, I'm gonna pour me another glass of prosecco if anybody wants to
Yeah.
redeem it.
So I may have sent this across to you. Don't ignore your Discord for a moment because
I
obviously
normally do.
I'm just yeah, but it's a link to something I think might come in
Right.
very handy for your spooky streams.
Ooh, okay.
Psychological thriller horror game
Yeah.
that came out in the Xbox 360 era,
Ooh, okay.
but it's also on PC.
Nice.
In fact, it was a launch game for the 360.
Oh, right.
Condemned Criminal Origins.
Oh, Condemned. I haven't played that in years.
Currently
Yes.
229 on PC.
All right, I probably will do that now. That's going to come with some strict warnings. But yes, uh, that was actually banned, I believe, banned in Ireland when it came out. It's
I'm
fine
not
now, but like,
really very surprised by that, but I had a
yeah.
very visceral experience of that game. I'm actually going to buy this as well because I want
Oh
to play
God.
it again. I remember with a friend at the time playing that game in the dead of night, and he had a
Oh
surround
gosh.
sound system on as well. And my god, that game scared the bejesus out of me.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was like one of the most viscerally
Yeah.
creepy experiences I've
I
ever had.
I've watched Call Me Kevin. Uh, get those old
Bingo.
dusty bingo cards out. But I've watched Call Me Kevin play it. I think 2 times, and it was like, ooh, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
graphic.
I think the good thing about it is obviously because the hits come from multiple
Mhm.
directions. When you've got a sound system like that, it
Yeah.
like especially with speakers that sat right behind your head and you
Yeah.
get hit, it is freaky.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrid.
Well, I'll definitely have to look into that because I did forget about
Yeah,
that game. Um,
I know. That's why I thought I'd just give you a
yes,
recommendation there,
much appreciated. But I think
even
that,
if it's a wait till next year.
yeah, that's true. Although I
Also,
always, mhm.
Silent Hill 2 remake comes out in 2 days as
Oh,
well.
does it? Okay, well
Yes.
I'll slide something out. That's what she said. I'll slide something out
Eh.
and put it in. But um, yeah. So I think that kind of does it for me. Yeah, that wraps it up
Yeah, I
for
believe
me.
so.
I guess we can now transition, segue. I didn't have a witty thing to say, and I wished I would have. I'm trying to think. Do I have any?
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't
Let's.
have any
We'll go.
witty one-liners.
We will go to the next layer and not be afraid.
That was really shocking. I wish you would have just said, "I have nothing. Let's move on."
I have nothing. Let's move on.
Good.
To the next
Let's move
layer.
on indeed. Oh, for God's sake. You ruined it. You
Ah,
ruined it. It's
always
fine.
do.
Right, so we're covering news again this week. So yeah.
And
There's not been a lot actually major happening, so there's been a couple of big news stories, so we'll leave those towards last.
mhm.
But let's talk about some actual good news within the video game industry,
Ooh.
specifically those who might work in the industry.
Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So, yes, because it was announced a few days ago, on October 4th specifically.
Uh-huh.
So, sources for this episode are VGC. They will be in the links provided if you're listening to us, or if you're watching live, it'll be after the fact. So, From Software, well known, well established for
Yes.
obviously doing Elden Ring and the Souls-like games. Um, Obviously, they are a company thriving and very successful at present because they've announced that they're increasing its employees' average salary by 12%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a
Oh,
rare
that's,
win for
yeah.
employees of video game companies. So the Japanese developer has
Amazing.
stated that in April 2025, so yeah, okay, they've got a little bit of time to wait, but
That's,
for the next fiscal year, let's say,
yeah.
employees will get about an average basic salary increase of around 11.8%. So yeah, it's rounded up to 12%, let's say.
Wow.
So their starting monthly salary for new graduates will also be increased from 260,000 yen, which is roughly about $1,700,
Right.
to 300,000 yen, which is it's just over $2,000, an increase of just over 15%.
That's crazy. Good for them.
So let's read the company's statement on this one, and I'll just read
Okay.
it verbatim, shall I?
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
So at From Software, we strive to make games that convey emotion, create value, and inspire joy. To this end, we're working towards stable income and a rewarding work environment where our employees can apply themselves to development. The increase in base and starting salaries is one implementation of this policy. We will continue to develop games with the hopes of inspiring players and creating something of value.
Ooh.
Good. The rest of this article is basically just talking about how well Elden Ring has done. So it sold
Yeah.
25 million copies at the time of the DLC coming out, and the DLC has gone on to sell on 5 million copies in its first week.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty good, let's say.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Um,
That's
Yet
cool.
it still won't stop people from saying, "When's Bloodborne
I
remastered?"
know. Nobody's ever
You can
satisfied.
make a great game that people resonate with, and it still won't make them
No,
happy.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a Bloodborne remastered does come at some
Oh,
point,
I'm
but
sure, yeah.
does it not show the state of the industry that someone's getting really annoyed that you're not remastering a game from a PS4
Mm.
generation?
Oof. I have thoughts and feels about that, but we've talked
Uh,
about that before, though.
yes, I think Naughty Dog would like to have a
Yeah,
word and say we
exactly.
did we already did that. I'm pretty
Ugh.
sure Gorilla also want to have a word with you. Say we're just doing it now.
Yes.
We talked about that last week.
We did.
Terrible, terrible decision. So, right. So let's talk about some more news, of
Okay.
course. And this one, I'm gonna say, came out as a bit of a surprise, actually.
Right, okay.
Because let's talk Stalker 2.
Oh, okay. Yes, we can talk Stalker too.
Stalker 2, the game that has notoriously been delayed several times over because of
Yes.
real world
I was
issues.
gonna say, they actually have a good reason, if we're honest.
So, this came as a bit of a shock
Uh-huh.
because Stalker 2 developer GSC Game World has released a 90-minute documentary about completing the game during the invasion.
Wow.
Yes. So, Ukrainian studios originally set to release the game in late 2022, but when Russia invaded Ukraine in February,
Yeah.
development was put on hold. The invasion led to some developers relocating to a new office in the Czech Republic, but the combination of this upheaval and Russia's continuing attack meant that development suffered numerous delays. However, the game is due to be released November 20th,
Oh,
and the
wow.
documentary, which was released, well, today at the time of the writing of article, which was the 3rd of October, which is called War Game: The Making of Stalker 2,
Right.
is actually free to watch on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense why it's 20
So
minutes.
I haven't actually watched this yet because I didn't actually know about this until this morning when I was putting the news articles together.
Yeah.
But we can obviously go into some statements that was said about it. So
Mm-hmm.
the documentary was created in partnership with Xbox and directed by Andrew Steven, who
Right.
originally who's previously directed the 4-hour Xbox documentary Power On.
Wow.
So
Okay.
he stated, "This film isn't just about uh, the hardest game development of all time. It's about resilience and the unyielding human spirit in the face of unimaginable challenge. It's about the importance of creation in a time of destruction, the defiant act of making something meaningful in the face of adversity."
Oh, I kind
So
of like
yeah,
that.
yeah. There were some other statements. I'm not going to say what they are because they'll probably end up coming out in the documentary anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah. Good
this
point.
is more of a thing to go. By the way, there's a documentary out about this game. Please go and watch it. Support the developers because I know several people are really excited about Stalker 2, yourself included. So
Yeah.
it might be interesting. You might be able to get a look at the game and its development and how obviously whilst we have been annoyed that it's been delayed, understandably so, it's been delayed, and let's see
Yeah.
why. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, War Game. I will link it in the description and post a link on YouTube as well, or post a link on Twitch so that we can obviously watch it. In due course.
Yes.
So I'm just doing that now for the chat who are there now. So
Sweet. There you
there you
go.
go. So yeah, please go and give that a check out, give it a like and all that. Make sure that you know that the developers are, you know, see you've seen it. Good.
Yup.
Anyway, so uh, yeah, we're sort of blitzing through the news stories pretty quickly today,
That's
but
okay. We can do
so,
that.
some of these are going to require a bit more discussion, and I think this one might lead to a bit more discussion
Right. Okay.
because I'm going to bring up a name for you.
Uh-oh.
Someone who is associated with the video games industry, maybe not
Uh-huh.
for a very long while.
Right. Okay.
Do you happen to remember Ken Kutaragi?
I don't actually, but it seems like I remember you saying his name before for some
Ken
reason.
Kutaragi is the ex-president of SIE,
Right.
Sony Interactive
Yes.
Entertainment.
Was he the one that had the charges brought up against him?
I don't think so. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know, but anyway, so he's recently been speaking about a few things.
Right. Okay.
So shall we go
Interesting.
into what's been discussed?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
former president and the man often referred to as the father of PlayStation, Ken
Right.
Kutaragi, has claimed that everyone at Sony thought the PlayStation would fail.
Oh.
So he was speaking at
Interesting.
Tokyo Game Show, where he stated he spoke about his ambition to enter the gaming hardware space in the mid 90s.
Uh-huh.
So, quote, "We wanted to share the passion. We wanted to hear their expectations and what they didn't expect, so we wanted to hear from them. So we visited dozens of
Right.
companies, if not hundreds. We visited a lot of game makers. It was a great memory. They were not interested."
Oh my gosh, that's
Uh,
crazy.
so he carries on. "They just said, don't do it. There were multiple companies and none of them were successful. You are going to fail." That's what they told us.
Holy crap, though.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So Ken Kutaragi hasn't actually been associated with Sony since he left in 2007. And the article, him standing there proudly holding that overpowered piece of crap known as the PS3, um, that overpriced piece of crap, I
Yeah,
mean.
that's
But
what you meant. Yeah. I
yeah,
knew what you meant, though.
it's so now we're talking about Sony and Ken Kutaragi.
Yep. See,
So,
I think I got him mixed up with the Sonic guy.
oh, you mean Yuji Naka?
Yeah, insider trading or whatever it was. Yeah,
Yes, Mr.
that's
Insiding Trading.
yeah.
I mean, someone had to pay for Balan Wonderworld, didn't they?
Yes.
So yeah, it's yeah, I'm honestly quite surprised that Sony and everyone thought that the PlayStation was going to fail.
Right.
I'm really surprised
I'm
by
very
that.
surprised by that. Like, really? But I
I
mean,
mean, it was a gamble. It really was. You know, you come off the back of a potential partnership with Nintendo, who then decides to cut it short and go,
yeah.
so that we're going to go with Philips, and that didn't end well.
Mm-mm.
They could have very easily have gone, all right, well, all right, other than us going it alone, why don't we go partner with Sega and look
Yeah.
at how badly that could have ended.
This is very
Um,
true.
so very interesting line. I mean, since the advent of the PlayStation era, I think there's only been one console that actually, well, apart from handhelds, let's not include the handhelds in the home console section,
Yeah.
except for the PS5. Out of the first four lines of PlayStation, only one of them didn't actually make 100 million units, which was the PS3. It still came close to about 80 odd million.
Wow.
So there, yeah, and the PS2 for now is still the most successful console of all time
Yeah.
until Nintendo's next registered numbers. We don't actually
Well,
know, but
yeah.
I suspect that PlayStation, well, Sony, Nintendo could very much overtake them
Right.
if they have strong holiday sales.
Yeah. That's very true.
So yeah. So from a business perspective, I want to know your opinion. If you were sat at Sony headquarters at the time,
Uh-huh.
and someone like Ken Kutaragi comes along to you and shows you this thing, what's your opinion of it? Would you have turned around and gone, I don't see any success in this?
I think back then I would have been hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, because I'm very risk averse in business. That's why I make the money that I do.
It's
Um,
almost like I asked you for this reason.
yeah. But see, I would then ask for like group studies and comparison to, how Nintendo does it, their numbers and blah blah blah. There would be a lot of data that I would be seeking before I
Mm-hmm.
made a final decision. But I will say my first instinct, which would be wrong, my first instinct would be like, oh, this is going to struggle, because
Yeah.
who wants to use CDs and to play games on? And you know what I mean? There would have been a kind of like, oh, a little bit of a bias of not sure the common man's going to be able to, go out and buy this and blah, blah. But by the same token, because I'm risk averse, I always need data. I would get the
Mm-hmm.
data and then make my decision, which then would have probably been like, let's go forward. But that
Mm.
is me. I do business quite different, I think. Not, I
Yeah,
mean,
I've
not entirely. Smart people, smart business people know to do their surveys and group testing before they move
mm-hmm.
forward. But
Yeah, it would have been quite difficult, obviously, to judge this one if I
yeah.
was sat in that position. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you've got two companies there, like Nintendo and like Sega,
Uh,
who are sitting there at the top of the pile, like absolutely dominating things, and then um, you've you've got SNK sitting there trying to
yeah.
do things like the Neo Geo. You've got the
Yep.
home computer market within Europe that's still somewhat strong, let's
Yeah.
say. Um, it was always going to be a bit of a market that was going to be quite difficult to conquer.
Yeah.
And I probably would have turned around and said, this is probably a bad idea. Um,
Yeah, because of the just the atmosphere at the time.
yeah, I mean, the video
Yeah.
game market in America was still quite. It was coming up. It was definitely a lot better than it was in the mid 80s, of
Right.
course. And it started to shed the stigma a little bit of this is just a
Yeah.
toy rather than an actual medium.
Yeah.
But I think it was PlayStation, let's be honest, whilst Nintendo were the innovators and Sega were the ones that were pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
at the time. Um, it wasn't until PlayStation came along that people went, maybe it is an art form.
It's
And
true.
it pains me to say it as a Nintendo
I
fan,
know exactly.
but it was only once the PlayStation released that people went, they can be cinematic, they can be artistic, they can be everything that we once imagined that Hollywood movies are and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you have games like Final Fantasy VII, you have Metal Gear Solid, Legacy of Kain, and all that
Yes.
came out on those consoles.
I loved
That
Legacy
when
of Kain.
they have an incredible art style, incredible like stories to tell,
Hmm.
that people finally sat up and noticed that.
Yes.
So, whilst Sony are very arrogant and very annoying, and PlayStation as such, has these cycles, I still have to respect what Sony have done for the video games industry, as much as it pains me to say it. But I did used to love like the PlayStation 2, and it was
Oh
one of my
yeah.
favorite consoles of all time. So,
Oh,
hey,
definitely.
there's a reason why I've got more PS2 games than anything on my shelf.
Yeah. Ah, definitely. Definitely.
I just wish I could play them backwards compatible on that
I
piece of
know.
crap over there, though.
Yeah. 5-ton
Sort it out,
paperweight.
Sony. Anyway,
Yep.
speaking of sorting things out, Nintendo, they need to sort their lives out.
Oh dear.
They've been in the news this week for some very bad
Oh.
things.
Oh
Very, very
no.
bad things.
Oh
Well, you
dear.
say, well, it depends on your situation. Depends on how you look at this
Yeah.
things. I believe that we may have had a discussion about this a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Because emulation has taken another
Oh
real
yes.
hit.
Oh yes.
So, another popular Switch emulator has been taken down following pressure from Nintendo.
Oh goodness.
So, this was reported on X by notorious ex Twitter user Oatmeal Dome.
Oh yeah.
The emulator Ryujinx. This was mentioned in our previous episode when we were talking about the Yuzu emulator.
Yes.
This is an open source emulator promising excellent accuracy and performance, a user friendly interface, and consistent builds.
Oh goodness.
Has been shut down by its lead developer.
Of course.
So a message was posted on their
Ah.
Discord server by the developer and explained that GDK Chan, who is the lead developer on Ryujinx,
Mhm.
was approached by Nintendo and took the emulator down shortly after this, removing all download links and the GitHub repositories
Oh dear.
hosting the emulator. So the statement was, and I'll read it in full. Yesterday, GDK Chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project, remove the organization, and all related assets he's in control of. While awaiting confirmation on whether he would take this agreement, the organization has been removed. So I think it's safe to say what the outcome is. Rather than leave you with only panic and speculation, I decided to write this short message to give you some closure.
Ah.
So, yeah, this is another one that's taken a hit, unfortunately,
Right.
and it's another situation where emulation, especially on the Nintendo side of things, is hampering preservation, let's say, to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whilst I'm not going to say anything that's too outlandish here,
Uh-huh.
I may have slightly updated my stance on where I sit at the moment
Oh right. Okay.
because I love emulation. I think it's a necessary, let's say, a necessary
Yeah.
evil.
Yes.
The sharing of ROMs is obviously illegal, if they've been
Yes.
obtained in illegitimate ways. I think, annoyingly so, like, if you own your video games, you should definitely be able to have a way to back them up and play them in a
Yes.
different way and possibly at a better frame rate because whilst people have been enjoying things like Echoes of Wisdom, apparently frame rate seems to take a bit of a dip from time to time.
Yeah.
Would be nice to play games like Breath of the Wild in 60 frames.
Yeah.
Current hardware is not something that really should be emulated at the time until until it's stopped being sold.
Right.
Um, because of rampant piracy on things that are actively available on store shelves. And we
Right.
all know that the vast majority of people are going to use emulation to not pay for games.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah.
where I have the problem with Nintendo is obviously that things like the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS have had their market space shut down within the last few years. I don't know why they're coming after people wanting to do homebrews and stuff like that on those systems when their storefronts are actively shut down and you can
Right.
no longer buy a console in a retail space brand new.
Right.
I don't see what the issue is, but they're still coming after people for doing stuff like that, and
Yeah,
that's where I have
that's
a real issue. They're very. The problem with Nintendo is very, very, very heavy-handed tactics, and whilst I understand that they need to be seen to, you know, protect their copyright, their IP, and at all costs, because if they don't, then they will state that they're not holding on, wanting to hold on to their IP by doing so.
right.
They are far too heavy-handed at the best of times.
Right. I do agree with that.
So this is disappointing because but
Yeah.
I, yeah. So Dank has put, I have a problem with Nintendo coming after Wii U emulation. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Same with Wii. You know, the problem I have with it is that actually, if they release something that allowed you to go and play backwards compatible games without having to pay for them on a third party market site like Facebook, eBay at extortionate prices,
Mhm.
believe you me, I'd be paying for it right now because I want to give Nintendo money to play a back catalogue. But the
Right.
emulation that you have on the Switch for the back catalogue is notoriously poor at times.
Yeah.
It's not great. So, but I didn't like. I want to know what you think about it before I start getting into theories about something.
Um well, I've never kept it a secret, I'll say, that I have ROMs for all the games I own.
Mm-hmm.
Put it that way. I'm a big proponent of emulation. I've shown off my various handhelds
Mm-hmm.
on this show, which run on emulation. Um, I do think that Nintendo gets heavy-handed,
Yep.
um, and I think it's to their detriment. I, I, I think once it's such a weird position to take, but I think once a game is well, like Wii U, take the Wii U.
No, I think Danka raises a good point actually there in the
Yeah,
chat about Mother Free.
yeah. Uh, Danker says if they actually bring Mother 3, for example, we would need to emulate. Yeah, exactly. Well, this is kind of going along with what I'm saying. And also him mentioning the Wii U emulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's weird that they're coming down on older products, just like you said, Pete, that you can't go out and buy. They're not for sale anymore. So Nintendo's not actually losing money in
Yeah.
this. So that my position is more like, I mean, of course, I'm business minded first, but if you're not losing money, then who is getting hurt by this? You know?
Yeah, agreed.
So that's just
And it
kind of my
especially
take on it.
comes down to, things like marketplace games,
Yeah.
Take the 360 for instance, when obviously their marketplace shut down not too long ago,
Yeah.
and you had that back catalogue of arcade games that were only sellable via,
Hmm.
the marketplace. When they shut down, all of those go, and they actually should have a right to live. So people backing that up is great for preservation.
Hmm.
You know, if
Absolutely.
if those games were still for sale,
Right.
then trying to pirate them, fine, I'd have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, I think every single one of us have all been known to play games via an emulator that you legally own.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Uh,
we can't stand here on our soapboxes claiming the moral high ground because
no.
we're all very guilty of doing
Yes.
so.
That's very true.
I mean, I'm the first to admit I want to play the hell out of Mother 3 and have played the hell out of Mother 3 because it's a great game.
Right.
But of course, I've not legally ever owned it.
Right.
Only up until recently, I have legally owned a copy of Super Mario RPG because
Right.
it wasn't available in my country.
That's true.
I now own a Japanese version of the game. Am I
Yes.
ever going to be able to play a Japanese version of a game? Hell no. But I own it.
Right?
So, that's the point. But the fact is, it's annoying as hell. Like, they're far too heavy handed.
Yeah.
And actually, like, if they had something like Ryujinx, like Yuzu,
Yeah.
but they specifically locked pirated versions of games and only allowed for people to actually play games that they legally own via a, let's say a dumping method, and
Uh
you
huh.
have to input like a CD key, basically, like you used to be able to do with the anti-piracy stuff on PC.
Right.
I
Yes.
actually think that would be a better way of doing things
Right.
until that marketplace or that system is no longer available.
Yes.
But here's my wild and speculative theory moment.
Okay.
I think there's more of a reason behind this.
Oh, do you think because of the upcoming uh Switch Pro or something?
There's no such thing as a Switch Pro.
I know it. Whatever.
The next generation console, let's say.
Yes, that one.
Yes. And no, we
Ah.
haven't conferred this before you asked, but this just
Yeah.
shows how well you know where I'm going with
Yep.
this. Is it very possible that the reason why this is taken down is because the interface, the
Yeah.
architecture, and the guts of the machine, barring a few different things,
Yes.
are going to be the exact same as the Switch One, meaning that the piracy would be absolutely rampant on the Switch Two if they were to if this emulator was to stay open.
I mean, it's entirely possible. Um, they have to take all that into account, and so I think that I think that's an entirely plausible situation.
Hmm,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. I think that's
I think so, but yeah, it is disappointing. But hey,
yeah.
what else can we do? So, Nana's asked that might be revealed this month. I think it's due out in March. So, can I mention? I'm not going to mention something. I don't know
Okay.
anything. I know nothing about Insider. So the original statement said that they were going to reveal it before the end of the fiscal year 2024, which would be March 31st, 2025. Doesn't mean they're going to release anything by then. It just means that the plans will come into light by then.
Right.
Is it going to be revealed this month? I don't think so. I'm going to eat my words, obviously, if it does, because if it does get revealed, then it's emulating exactly the same as the Switch One and
Yeah.
will be released by March 2025.
Yep.
I actually think they're going to reveal it in March for a holiday release, October of next year.
Right.
They're going to want to capitalize on very strong holiday sales to start.
Yeah.
I also think that one of the launch games for it is going to be a huge one, and that'll be the new
Right?
Pokemon game.
Oh, now see that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's not. Remember, it's not Gen 10 that's coming out. It's ZA, isn't it? So it's the next Legends game.
Ah, right. Right.
So yeah, I think that's because they did sort of reveal that it was coming out simultaneously next year.
Uh-huh.
So I think simultaneously means it's Switch and Switch 2.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes
So
sense.
yeah. Anyway, shall we carry on with Nintendo news?
Sure. Yes.
Because we're now a Nintendo podcast, clearly.
That's our new name, our new title.
No, it is not. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before that I have a real issue at times supporting SNK
Yeah.
because of who they're owned by.
Mhm.
This might now be a problem for me
Oh dear.
because Saudi Arabia's
Oh
sovereign
yes.
wealth fund is considering a move to increase its stake in Nintendo.
Right.
So, according to a new interview in which the firm discussed, in which the firm discussed the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund's plans for growth.
Oh goodness.
Prince, Jesus Christ. I am going to apologize if I offend anyone in the Middle Eastern area of the world for the pronunciation of this name, but Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud, the group's vice chair, said in an interview with Kyoto News that there is always opportunities for further investment.
Oh
Quote,
goodness.
it's important to keep the communication going so you get there in the right way. We don't want to rush into anything.
Right. Interesting.
So, as of right now, the PIF, or the Public Investment Fund, originally acquired around a 5.01% stake in Nintendo in May of 2022,
Right.
and as of 2024, they own 8.58% of them.
Ah.
So what? It's a very small percentage, let's say, at present.
Right.
And if you know anything about shareholding and stockholders and stuff like that, it's probably not enough to influence a board decision about the direction of the company.
I mean, yes. It
But it
has.
depends on how many shares are out there and available to be
Yes.
purchased.
Exactly.
So if they own 8.58%, that could be 8 shares or 8
Right.
million shares. We don't know.
Right.
Now, I'm going to ask you this,
Okay.
because you probably know a heck of a lot more about shareholding, stockholding, and stuff like that than I do.
I know a little. I know a little.
Um,
I don't know
would you say that?
international law though, apparently. Anyway.
No, of course not. But would
Yeah.
you say that this is very, very possible that they would have some sort of influence within the company with this kind of shareholding?
Oh, they'll definitely have an influence. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like just they would absolutely have an influence. Um would they have a greater influence if they had greater shares? Of course. I mean, that's
Of
just
course.
logic. But no, it's still enough to have an influence. Um and that's
So,
yeah.
so would that influence be uh limit them to being able to well, let's just say influence the decisions of games announced, games being worked on?
I
Or would it also be the ability to remove directors, shareholders, or
oof.
anything like that with that kind of stake?
They would be able to influence probably not like the content of a game or anything like that. They'd probably influence timelines, uh, and probably could influence hiring and firing. Um,
Okay, so you would say that they'll be able to sit in on board meetings
yeah,
with even with
yeah,
that stake and be able to say, I don't agree with the direction of this
right,
company. I believe that you've not done well.
yeah, and
I move for a vote to remove um oh god, what's his name? Jesus Christ, what's the president's name of Nintendo?
yeah,
Um it's not Kirishima, no, it's not. Oh Christ, I'm gonna have to look this up. But yeah, the ability to remove the president of
see,
Nintendo at the
I don't
moment.
think they would have the uh, ability to do that, but I do think, much like in politics, they would be able to ask for the business equivalent of a recommend. Frick, not a recommendation.
Yeah.
I just blanked out on the word. Not well. Anyway,
Yeah, thanks, Dan, and I just found that as Shintaro Furukawa.
yeah. Um, not referral, not recommendation. There's another word that starts with R-E, that you do in politics, which is, you know, to it's like a pre-vote to see how everyone's leaning. They could referendum. That's
Oh,
it.
oh
Um,
yes, of course.
they could request something that would be the business equivalent of a yeah,
So
referendum.
essentially, I would say I would call to move for a vote of non-committal, or a
Or like,
right of removal.
yeah, it would be more like we need to look into this person a little bit deeper. That's about what they
Yeah.
could call. And then of course that can snowball and turn into that person being removed. Whereas they didn't directly do that, they just asked for a referendum vote.
Yeah.
Well, the business equivalent, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Mm.
But
Okay.
there is power there, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I know a little bit about stakeholding. So, whereas just to put it into perspective, obviously you said about 8.58%, wasn't it, of
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah.
They own 96.18% of SNK, so they
Yeah.
have complete control in the stake.
Absolutely, yeah.
They
Yeah.
influence the complete direction of SNK's business.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, I have nothing against the Middle East, let's say, as the people, but the where the money comes from is a little bit suspect,
Yeah.
and how they make their money is a little bit suspect. So, let's put this into perspective as well, because in December of 2020, the PIF also acquired
Yeah.
3 billion of stock in Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
Electronic Arts, and Take-Two.
Yep.
So there has been, obviously, you wouldn't know this because you don't follow sports, especially
No.
UK sports.
No.
There has been accusations of, I say accusations, allegations
Yeah, there you
that the
go.
PIF have been using it to whitewash sports or to, you know, gain gain influence. Let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So I believe it's the Etihad Group, or also owned by a bunch of Saudi princes,
Mhm.
own Manchester City.
Right.
The PIF own Newcastle United,
Right.
um, and I think it's another Qatari company owns Paris Saint-Germain, which are a French company or a French
Ah.
football team.
Right.
So they're having influence throughout sport. They're also using a lot of the PIF to influence boxing as well.
Oh, right.
So we've
Oh,
recently
wow.
just had the Riyadh season within London, where Anthony Joshua just boxed on their card
Oh, wow.
um, in a major title fight and lost.
Oh, dear.
But the Saudi national anthem was played at the very opening of the event itself. So
Oh, wow.
the the PIF and the Saudi Investment Fund are using it as a way to obviously send their money all the way across the world and influence a
Right.
lot of decision elsewhere. It's not too dissimilar to how Chinese businesses have done it over the years. It's not too dissimilar to how American businesses have done it over the years.
Right.
This is just the new thing that's coming out of it because there has been a huge amount of wealth that's come up
Oh, yeah.
probably within the last 20 years from Saudi Arabia, from Eastern, Middle East and the Gulf states.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a worry, but let's be honest, where does most of this money come from across the world anyway? It's usually blood money of some sorts.
Yes, although that's just a theory. That is not us saying that.
No, I mean, it is a theory, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would say the same thing about any business
Yeah.
and most of it where it comes from. I mean, Rupert Murdoch made most of his money out of lies and manipulation,
I
and he's
know.
Australian.
There's a lot of people that do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So, um, I might have to agree with Nana on this one. He says, I mean, it, um, I would say SNK haven't been influenced by Saudi money, at least not yet, anyways, but it will likely burst soon.
hey.
Um, well, based on the fact that SNK's output recently has been a lot more output generally than there had been over the last 10 years before that when they could have gone bankrupt, I'd say they're having an influence.
Yeah.
King of Fighters 14 King of Fighters 15 coming out not long after King of Fighters 14,
Yeah.
and that was off the back of Samurai Showdown coming out when it hadn't had a game for a very long time, and now Fatal Fury, which hasn't had a game for a very long time. I'd say their influence is pretty massive at the moment. So,
Yes.
speaking of stocks and shares, because we all know that this is now a financial podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like the
Let's
shipping
talk about
forecast.
The shipping news for today is.
I love the shipping forecast. I adore it. Anyway,
I
yes.
haven't heard the shipping forecast in years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's how I used to go to sleep when I was stuck in the hospital for 2 years. I would
Oh,
switch
I'm
it
not
over to that.
surprised
Yeah,
because
it was
it's
wonderful.
incredibly boring.
It wasn't that. It was just so soothing.
If I want it incredibly soothing, I won't listen to ASMR because that's not soothing.
No, ASMR makes me.
Do you, like I'm gonna out myself here. Do you know what
Okay.
actually is quite soothing?
What's that, Pete?
True crime documentaries on
Oh,
YouTube. They
goodness.
are quite
Oh,
soothing.
goodness. There's a lot of
Terrible
people.
subject nature, but the people who narrate them actually got really
Oh, my
calming,
goodness.
soothing voices. It's quite
A lot,
nice.
a lot of people do that
I know
currently.
it's now a worry because it's now several people at work. Oh
Well,
dear.
all I've done is just listen to breakup videos. So hopefully that will change into either shipping forecast or some kind of other YouTube videos.
I think you need to start putting the shipping forecast
There
back
you
on.
go.
Anyway,
Yes.
so back to the financial news and the
Yes.
shipping news for this week. Um, let's talk about Ubisoft because it's not going to be a dull week without talking about
Oh my
Ubisoft.
gosh. Yes.
Right.
I've said this for weeks. I can't help it. I had such high hopes. You can go back and listen to so many episodes this year. I had such high hopes for Ubisoft. I did. I did. But anyway, continue
Mm,
on. I know it was not to be. But anyway, continue
yeah,
on.
so we've got a couple of news stories relating to Ubisoft.
Oh dear.
When did this one? So this one came out on the 4th. I'm just looking at another story. Oh, that was from. Oh, I think we might have covered that one already. But let's just use this one to lead up to the point of where we're going with this. It's about building a narrative, right?
Yes.
Because Ubisoft's share price has now dropped to its lowest point in 11 years.
Oh wow.
So at the time of writing, which was the 26th of September, the company's shares was €11 and 40 cents when the market closed on Wednesday.
Oh dear.
But it opened at €9.76.
Oh dear.
So, whilst we're doing this, you can tell me,
Uh-huh.
uh, how bad is that in terms of stocks?
Uh
How bad?
that's a pretty big percentage loss. That I you don't even need me to say that, but that is exactly what that is. Um it's a point that I would sell if it were me. Put it that way.
Okay.
That's a big percent cuz really that's what matters with stocks is percentage amounts, not necessarily finite, you know, dollars, pounds, yens amount. It's the percentage loss that you're looking at. Um and that's a pretty big percentage loss overnight. That's crazy.
Okay. I'm going to come back to this because I've just looked something up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I'm going to read the story that came out on the 4th,
Uh huh.
which was a couple of days ago. So this is Friday as we record on Sunday.
Yep.
Um, Tencent and Ubisoft.
Uh huh.
Specifically Ubisoft founders, the Guillemot um, family, are reportedly considering teaming up to take the company private after it lost more than
Wow.
half of its market value this year. So
Oh
according
wow.
Yeah. So according to Bloomberg sources, Chinese conglomerate, which already owns around 10% of Ubisoft, and Guillaume, Jesus Christ, this name, Guillemot Brothers
Uh huh.
Limited, have been speaking with advisors to explore ways to stabilize Ubisoft.
Right.
So one of the possibilities discussed would involve teaming up to take Ubisoft private, it claimed. Though talks are said to be at an early stage and there's no certainty that they will lead to action.
Oh dear.
So they're also considering other alternatives. So over the last month, and I'll get back to this in a moment with
Yeah.
my checks, Ubisoft's share price dropped to its lowest point in nearly 11 years.
Oh
The
my
most recent
gosh.
dips followed Ubisoft's announcements that it delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows
Yep.
and disappointing launch of Star Wars Outlaws. Earlier in September, a minority investor called on Ubisoft's management to take the company private or let it be sold to a strategic investor. Um, Hedge fund AJ Investments published an open letter calling for strategic and structural changes at Ubisoft. It
Right.
urged the board to consider taking the company private, quote, implement a comprehensive cost reduction program and optimize staffing levels to be more compatible with industry leaders, increase its focus on core IPs, and consider replacing current CEO
Oh
Yves
dear.
Guillemot. So Slovakia-based AJ Investments currently hold less than
Oh.
1% in Ubisoft.
Right.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Um, so what I wanted to check,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to. This is welcome to the shipping forecast for this week. On today's news is Ubisoft. Over the
Ah,
last 6 months, Ubisoft started around April of 2024 at €20.70.
oh my
Over the
goodness.
last day, it started out today at €10.68,
Oh
and has
dear.
currently risen at the time of finishing trading to €14.20.
Oh goodness. Well, I mean, that's a good percentage.
Yes, and that's after the fact that at 3:45 this afternoon, um, they were at €10.77, which took a significant jump to €14.07. It took a small dip and then went back up to €14.20 at around 5:20.
$5.20.
Closing the day out at €14.20, as I said, at
Yeah.
5:30.
Yes, and Nana is correct. That stock is
Uh,
really
let's
bad.
I will read that in a moment. Yeah, but
Okay.
let's read the year to date for now.
Okay.
So, starting out life, obviously, for the year to date, from the 2nd of January, where it started out at €23.51,
Whew. Uh-huh.
it's taken a major dip, obviously, with its
Yeah.
lowest point being
Yeah.
€9.89 on the 26th of September. So currently,
Bad
as per
news.
now, year to date, they have lost
Uh,
39.6%
yeah.
of their stock price.
That is bad news, bears. That's not good. That's not
And
good.
if you comparison that to, let me just take a look, 27th of July, 2018, their stock price was,
Wow.
what do you think?
2018 was a very good year for gaming, as we know. So
Mm-hmm.
I would put it at, I'm going to probably guess too high, but I'd say 45.
€45 per stock,
Yeah.
per share.
Yeah.
You would be so far out, it would be ridiculous.
Really? Higher or
Yeah,
lower?
higher,
Like the price is higher than
a
45?
lot higher.
See, that was 2018 is one of the best years for gaming. Holy crap. So 120?
Uh, Lower than that, so it is €100.05
Right. I'm
at
not
its highest
surprised.
point.
That was
So to
a
put,
very good year.
and also then to put that in comparison, which
Yeah.
actually it's low until that point, its lowest point
Right?
since 2017 was actually just before the pandemic struck in 2019 in November, when
Right?
it hit about 50 something cents. So
Oh
during the
my
pandemic,
gosh.
it hit 70, it was 71, um, going up as high as 78, no, 85 in January of 2021.
That's insane.
So still in its height, basically in the height of
Yeah.
the COVID lockdowns for some countries, not for all.
Yeah.
But yeah, how the tables have turned even within the last 3 years, because ever since that point in 2021, I'm just trying to get this on point there. Was it February I saw? No, January 22nd, where it was 85. It has taken a nosedive since then.
Holy crap.
and I mean a nosedive where we are currently at the moment. So, is it any surprise that they're considering taking Ubisoft private again?
No, I think that's it's they're just trying they're desperate and that's the only thing they know to do. I didn't realize
Yep,
they were that bad off. It's so weird to me. They really had so much potential starting out this year. Prince of Persia, and yeah, I know Skull and Bones is stupid,
shouldn't exist.
shouldn't exist, but you can usually take a minor hit like that. Um, and I thought for sure Outlaws. How many times did I say it? Outlaws and what is it? Shadows. That's the other one, right? Yes. I was like, oh, they're gonna be Game of the Year contenders for sure, 100%. And
Yep,
then now it's like, no, nope, they ain't.
no,
Ugh,
because they haven't really got a game out there at the moment that's
no.
really going to tear up trees and push towards the game of the year. No matter
Yeah.
how many people think Star Wars Outlaws is decent.
I do like it. I do like it. Is it as you know impactful as I thought it was gonna be? No, it's an okay game. It's midline. It's
Okay.
middling.
Well, let
But
me ask you this.
okay.
Since you played it on stream,
Yes,
have you actually gone back and revisited it?
that's a good question, Pete. And the answer to that is no.
And why is that?
Because Squirrel with the Gun exists.
And
That's really it. I'd rather play.
and
I'd rather play Squirrel with a Gun.
so what you're saying is that it's not nearly compelling enough to keep your attention.
Not more than my little squirrel running around dainty in a dress.
It doesn't matter about a squirrel with a gun.
Oh, it
That's
does.
whataboutism, let's say.
Oh, I love Squirrel
But
with a Gun.
clearly, the game is not nearly compelling enough to make you go, "I want to come back to this."
Yeah, I will go back to it, but
Eventually, yes,
I do love my
but
Squirrel with a Gun.
it's not quite the same as, let's be honest. Games of past,
Yeah.
um, Halo 3, Halo 2,
Oh, come on.
um,
It's not even
Left 4 Dead,
remotely.
things
Yeah.
like that.
No, no, no.
And this is going back too many years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just more thinking of games that are more
Yeah.
your kind of thing, where you're like, okay, I definitely want to go back and play that again and again and
Yeah,
again.
exactly. I
Like,
I have all of Halo 3, all script of Halo 3 memorized, put it that way. Like I can repeat to you the whole game word by word.
yeah.
That's how
And
much I
how many
played it.
times will you be willing to go back and go, I really want to see what was it, Kvass wants to do in this
Khaleesi.
smuggling den in Tatooine?
Yes, I haven't got there yet. It may still
Or
do it.
in, what was it,
Uh,
Canto Bight or wherever she is?
Something like that. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing though. I have to say they did do set design and sound design so on point. The story's fine. It's it's fine. It's a good okay game. It is definitely a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10, and that's not a bad score. It's a good score.
I mean,
Um
unless you're IGN when it's a bad score.
yeah, exactly. And Denker says why I
Yeah.
wished Nintendo considered a purchase. They're raving rabbits. Oh yeah, franchise is good. All the rabbits, yeah. Um,
Yeah. There was other news obviously related to that I decided not to cover. The fact that several lead developers from the Rabbids studio have
yeah,
actually gone off and formed their own studio. So
yeah, I saw that.
I'm not sure that Mario plus Rabbids is coming back, which is a
Yeah,
shame because I actually think the series is quite decent.
yeah. Oh my
Um,
goodness, yes. Ubisoft's TV division know how to make shows. That is true. I do agree with that. Um,
mm,
oh my goodness, yeah. Um,
yeah, so that's a shame.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't like to ever see a company fall by
Well,
the wayside because
right, right.
you know, especially one like Ubisoft that have got quite a legacy, especially when it comes to their Ubisoft Vivendi stuff from
Yeah,
many, many years ago, because I'm old.
yeah.
Jesus.
It's
There
true.
is an easy solution to all this, Ubisoft.
Uh
And
huh.
I'm going to say
Make
this
good games.
slowly. So that's one of them.
Yes,
That is one of them.
yes,
Just focus on making a good game,
yes.
first and foremost. Leave some of the crap out that you've been doing before.
Yeah, I don't know where their head's at. I really don't.
Like, stop wading into it, like into freaking stupid politics online these days, and stop getting involved in that. That's
Yes.
first and foremost. Stop catering to one side of things who are not going to play your games, and stop trying to outrage the chuds,
Oh
let's
goodness.
say, and just make a game that people want to play
I mean,
and
that to me is the
enjoy.
bottom line. Yeah.
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 And there is one easy solution to all of this. It's
What's
one
that?
simple word, one simple franchise,
Uh huh.
one thing that you have left out in the cold for far too long.
What is it, Pete?
Make a goddamn Rayman game.
Oh goodness. People have been asking them for that for years. Absolutely years.
It's so simple.
I have to agree.
The
Yes.
last Rayman game they made was incredible, and it
That's true.
sold well.
Ah, look, Nina said the same thing.
I know. It's
Ah,
so simple, but yet they can't figure it out.
I know.
They've got such a reliance on just they've got such a reliance on we have to make Assassin's Creed. We have to do stuff with the Division. We have to do stuff with live service, open world, bullcrap with season passes.
Which some of that I
Stop
like.
it and take all of that away and go back to basics.
Yeah.
Go back to what you once did before. Make great games,
Oh, and
make
Splinter
simple
Cell.
games that people love, people will talk about, increase your stock again. Then you can start adding more into development costs again.
Yeah, for sure.
Strip it back, make a budget game, maximum profits. Look what they did with Prince of Persia.
I was,
A
yeah.
game they probably had absolutely no faith in whatsoever, but has reviewed reasonably well. Has
Yeah,
done okay.
I really want to play it. I haven't played it yet.
So do I, but it's not. Okay, so sadly the new Prince of Persia didn't sell well, so
Oh,
that's not
really?
happening. But
Oh, that's
it
disappointing.
reviewed well enough. It reviewed decently.
Right.
Like they spent. So Nana brings up Sands of Time. Sands of Time remake. That game has been in far too long of active development. It's restarted development.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know that anybody wanted that.
I mean,
But that's
you
what they
can.
keep doing. They keep making games that nobody wanted.
This is the problem. You know, whilst people probably wanted a Star Wars game, fine, make a Star Wars game. That license is expensive.
It's very expensive. Yes, that's true.
That license is very expensive, and also I'm going to say this: I don't care what most people think.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars under Disney. I'm not even calling it Star Wars. It's Disney Star Wars.
Yes, okay. I think
It's a
that's fair.
diminished brand.
It
It is a very diminished property that not a lot of people have a lot of faith in at the moment.
not in its
So
prime.
trying to release a Star Wars game in an era where people do not like much of what's output from Star Wars is going to lead to a negative adverse reaction,
That's entirely
no matter
possible.
how good the game could be. And believe you me, I even said that Star Wars Outlook looked half decent and I was
Right.
considering a purchase, but then went, no, it's Star Wars. I can't. I
Yep.
don't I can't do Star Wars. Star Wars to me died when Lucas sold it.
Yeah.
It's no longer the Star Wars that we know. It is Disney Star Wars.
That is. I do agree with that.
So yeah, look, your opinion on Star Wars can matter to whoever. Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So be it. But it's just it's the law of diminishing returns. If you're gonna produce franchises that people don't like, why are you bothering?
That's very true.
You
That's a
know,
good point.
they have like people want a new Division game.
Yeah,
People haven't played the Division in a long time.
that is
You know,
true.
people want Dan could mention it, Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
My God, people have been wanting a Splinter Cell game for years.
it's true.
The espionage genre seems to have died a death since certain creatives and auteurs decided to walk away from the genre.
Yeah.
There is a
That's very
gap in
true.
the market, and it's the perfect time to strike. But yet, Ubisoft don't care about it
Yeah.
because the only thing they want to do is make Assassin's Creed and
Yep.
make everything an Assassin's Creed like game with heavy stealth, open
Yeah.
world mechanics, more icons on the map, and more crap to do. Nah, it's boring. It's like if all of your games play the same, look the same, feel the
Yeah.
same, act the same, people are bored. People will
Yep.
be bored. You need a variety.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
rant
very
over.
true. Yep. um do we have any more news, or we
No, let's read through some of the chats that were related to
Okay.
this story, shall we?
I think that's a good idea.
So, what was it? So, let's go back. So, Nan said it will probably burst. I mean, it will probably burst soon. Ubisoft is in deep doo doo right now. I'm not saying the
Yeah.
word he put in the chat. Um, it's almost like hedging your bets on only Assassin's Creed and open world games isn't good, especially when you make Assassin's Creed an open world game. Also, they aren't getting rid of the president, so that's like the last line of defense. Totally agree. I
Yeah.
stated it obviously within my words
Yes.
as well. I wasn't reading chat at that time.
Yes, that's true.
Um, yeah, we read that one already. The Ubisoft's TV division from Dankers know how to make good shows. Nana said bring back Rayman, and Danker said Splinter Cell. So yeah, there you go. Nana put Legends is amazing, one of the best platformers I've ever played. Totally agree. Completely unique, and the ending levels of each world are absolutely superb. There's a reason why it kept being on PS Plus because it was a good game. Good game.
Yes.
Yeah, Sands of Time remake. Unless the Sands of Time remake does gangbusters, the new Prince of Persia didn't sell, so I didn't see that happening. Danker put better yet, sell their IP to a third party. That indie Prince of Persia is actually good. So that's yeah. So we had a review on Rapid Reviews last week for the early access for it, the Rogue
Mhm.
Prince of Persia.
Yep.
Very highly spoken about. People like it.
Yeah.
It could work. Could work.
Could work.
Um, Nana put the Sands of Time remake was going to be a small budget thing, but they were rushing that out. Clearly, yep, it was looked quite rushed
Yeah.
based on what footage was shown. He also said I would say if they keep doing the smaller Assassin's Creed games, like Hex is rumored to be, make a new Rayman, make a new 3D Prince of Persia, make a new Splinter Cell, I think they could come back well. 100% agree.
Right.
And it hits the nail on the head exactly what I sort of said in my rant is that they need a variety of games, not just the same game with a
Yeah.
different skin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all well and good having Watch Dogs, but what are you doing with Watch Dogs that's not too dissimilar to Assassin's Creed?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. The only thing that's different is the stealth tactics are different because the technology.
Right.
Wow. 100% brilliance. Yeah, that took a marketing and creative team a lot of time to figure out.
Yeah.
You need variety in your portfolio. I'm sure you would tell that to anybody as a
Oh yeah.
business person. The only way that you're really going to appeal to as many people as possible is variety.
Yeah. I mean, look at my new streaming career. I'm available on a variety of platforms, and if you stay tuned, I will tell you all of those platforms.
We're at
Woohoo!
the end of the show. Let's get to that.
Well, Pete, if we're at the end of the show, why don't we ask you where can they find you and all of your interesting and new and fabulous podcasts?
Isn't it? Nothing new.
No, it's
Never a
not, but
new endeavor.
I was just throwing
Anyway,
words out there.
I'm fully aware of that.
Yes.
So, yep, you can see me here, there, everywhere, and nowhere at the same time.
Uh huh.
I run the Rapid Reviews Radio Twitter page, and I don't really do anything with it. But if you want to contact us there, you can at RR Radio Pod in various discords, including Modern Escapism, Rapid Reviews, and several others that I don't recall what they are at the
Yes.
moment. Um, but if you're a fan of movies, TV shows, and all that jazz and like audio stuff, good. You'll be in the right place for the Never Watchers. Because whilst we might have been languishing for the good couple of weeks, maybe a month, gave you a bit of a surprise this week where we gave you not one, but 2 episodes.
It's true. It's very
Because I
true.
finally managed to crack the code on the June Part 2 episode.
Right.
And got it out and fully accepted the fact that there were going to be sound issues and just had to get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, June Part 2 with myself, Kurt, and Gadget from Modern Escapism, previous guest on here as well, is now out for you to listen to. I will preface it by saying there's a few unfortunate sound issues on someone's microphone. Kind of sucks because it was a very good discussion that we had about that film.
Right.
But not only that, video game related as well. It's a
Right.
short one, but it's an enjoyable one and probably one of the more fun episodes I've had doing Never Watches. Because 1993's
Oh, yes.
classic
That's right.
Super Mario Brothers was one that I'm not going to give you reveal what was said between myself and Kurt.
Uh-huh.
Please go and listen to it. It's like I said, I think it's probably the most I've laughed on a podcast in a long time. It's entertaining.
That's very good.
Yeah, and that's now out on most podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Goodpods, all that jazz. So go and give it a listen.
Whoop whoop.
Some bad ones as well. Kylie, over to you for your 20-minute
Yes.
wrap up about where your streams are.
Yes. If
Time for
you
your close up.
Oh, that's right. Let's see. Got my lighting and my angles right. But yes, if you want to experience absolute insanity, I don't know why you would, but if you want to, I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. UK time on twitch.tv/KILEY_WILDE. So those are set in stone, but sometimes I do sneaky surprise, like, streams. When I'm feeling a bit lonely and I need to talk to other humans, then I go and I stream. But Mondays we do Mayhem Mondays. I changed it. It's Mayhem Mondays. And then Tuesdays, no, not Tuesdays. Wednesdays are Weird Wednesdays, and Fridays are Frightening Fridays. Although, because we're in the spooky ooky month of October, all the games are spooky ooky all week, except for my possible Hitman streams on Saturdays. Which reminds me, so follow me on Twitch, please, please, because I want to make 50 followers. Because I got these really great ideas for you
You're
wonderful,
pretty
fabulous people.
close now,
I'm
11,
so
11 or
close.
12 away, isn't it?
Yes, yes. I think I lost somebody last week. So I'm back to like 11 or
Sorry,
whatever.
that was me.
But
No, I'm joking.
yeah. No, I'm waiting for everyone to just jump ship and me be back to 1. Um, but
Quick, everyone unsub and
yeah.
resub again.
So I definitely want to hit 50 followers on Twitch because I have great ideas for you. Lovely, beautiful chat. My chat they uplift me. These guys are there and they just make my day every time they show up, and I just love it so much. But also follow me over on YouTube, which is where I'm getting like all the freaking traction in the world. Like I said earlier, I got 20 subs in 1 week, which I know to like actual YouTube like veterans or whatever, that's not a lot. I've literally been doing this for 1 month. We're going on 2 months now. And I hit like 30K views and I got 20 subscribers this week. And for whatever reason, people love my stupid dumb shorts. And I'm going to keep making those. I'm also over on TikTok and Twitter, X, whatever. But those are automated, so I don't really look at them too much. And but definitely go follow me there if you're of the mind. But outside of that, we have a very fabulous week lined up, including RE2 remake. I think we're gonna do Outlast 2 next week, and somewhere in the mix, we're going to throw in Alien Isolation.
Ooh, good
Yeah,
choice.
yeah. So we want the maximum scares, maximum AAA scares that we can get. But I need to cough. I'm going to cover my mic. Anyway.
So, would you say with there being AAA scares, it's AAA, it's scares?
Yes, scares. I'll probably use that in something. But
Cool.
anyway, that
Patent pending. You can pay
yes,
me now.
I think that's. Oh, you can follow me on Instagram. Instagram's another one that I don't check. I don't look at. Sometimes I put gym photos up there, but nobody cares about that. So I just like, sometimes my food goes on there. I got new Halloween decorations. You can go see those. Uh, it's not, it's not really gaming related. Um, but yes, Danker, that's perfect. Oh, Danker says might be clashing for next 2 Saturdays. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Um, right. Um, coughing. Ugh. But I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
Not quite yet
It's
because I've
not.
forgotten something.
Okay.
Two things actually. So, as we are a subsidiary or not an afterthought. Jesus, that would be
Yeah.
terrible. As a what was it he used to say
A
about us? We are
supplement. We're a
a s-
supplement.
thank you, thank you.
Yes.
We are a supplement of the Rapid Reviews UK site.
Yeah.
Please visit rapidreviewsuk.com. Two reviews out this week: Crow Country and Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports by Joseph Brood. So
Yeah.
please go and check those out. The links will be in the description once this goes live. If you're listening to us, not live, obviously. Also, just going to take this moment to put out our thanks to a particular someone as well, because YouTube seems to be doing okay. Because Nana
Oh.
has been
Mhm.
helping us out by clipping certain
Yes.
parts of the show when it comes to games. So, whenever
Yes.
we talk about either a new game, a new, an experience that we've been having, like Ghost of Tsushima, Terry, Astrobot, Star Wars Outlaws, Nana has been very kindly clipping them
Yes.
out and also adding some thumbnails to them to make them more
Yeah.
distinctive and recognizable on YouTube. And we want to put out a big thanks to him for doing that. He doesn't have to, but we really appreciate it. So thank you
Yes.
very much. Please go and
Absolutely.
check those clips out on YouTube and Twitch as well whilst they're available. But yeah, they're forever at YouTube, so they're just little sections from the podcast if you want to get involved. And I did have some feedback from Kurt the other day saying that he checked out the Ghost of Tsushima one and strongly disagreed with me about the game itself, which was
Oh
fair enough.
wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it is making an impact. So thank you.
Very cool. Excellent. Well,
Now we're done.
okay, I think that's going to wrap it up for the podcast part of this show. I don't know why I'm slipping in and out of accents. Uh, but now that leaves me to
You can
say,
you, you can take the girl out of Texas, but you
that's
can
right.
never take the Texas out of the girl.
Absolutely not. But that leaves me to say one last thing. We will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thus ends the podcast portion of our show, and now we do a brief talky bit, but brief because I have to go to the restroom. I drank 2 small bottles of Prosecco, which I think adds up to half a bottle, maybe.
Only two.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut weight down, cause
Oh, fair enough.
I lost a butt ton of weight, and I want to keep it off, and I want to keep losing weight. So
That is not a bad thing,
no,
ever.
because
So good for you.
yeah,
Good for you.
um,
Whereas I've been terrible and eating like fat shit.
yeah, but see, this is the thing, Pete. You're already hooked up with someone for life, so you get to do that. My trainer's like, Kylie, if you want,
Uh,
well, my trainer is like, Kylie, if you want anybody in the future, you're gonna have to lose weight. He didn't put it in exactly those words. He said more like, men love it when women take care of themselves. And I was like, you mean lose weight, don't you?
I mean, in the most Irish way possible, yes. definitely put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have done the usual Irish thing of going, um, tell you how it is,
Yeah.
and
It's
go, Kylie,
you
you're
fat
fat.
fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, at
Ah.
least he was nice about it this time.
Yeah, that is true. And Danker's right. Well, there is only one wine redemption, so that probably helps. Yes. Um, yeah, I've got to cut down on my drinking. I've just got a little bit more weight to lose. For some reason, I can't imagine why I lost a butt ton of weight in the last 2 months. Couldn't be because I'm
Is
sad. Um,
I was
but
going to go somewhere and say because you haven't been eating.
yes, well, that would be the reason why. Uh,
I would have thought the breakups led to you
no,
know,
I'm the opposite. I lose.
led to ice cream.
Nope. I do
Oh
the
yeah.
opposite. I just
Okay.
stop eating, and I look really good.
I mean, it's not like I've got any big event coming up that I need to
I
keep weight
know.
off for, but you know,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
help.
Speaking of which, I'm going to finalize that tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Um, because I looked into that particular hotel and it's perfect. Like I don't have any problems with that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
Dennis
So
says,
that
Kylie,
comes
please
to my
eat.
next point of order then.
Yes.
We need to we will need to discuss it privately, but what is it? Sunday the 3rd of November.
Now, Pete, we do we do not need to do an episode right after that big event.
No, I was just about to say that we are not doing an episode
Okay,
that
okay,
week.
good. I was gonna say.
But keep your eye out because we are cooking something up. There might be something pre-recorded.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You may understand, like you'll understand
Yeah.
why when it happens.
Yeah.
It's almost like I may not have the time to do an episode that
Oh,
week.
can't imagine why. Um,
Hmm.
but yes.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Daker says, "Woo," and then it says, "Ah, okay, yeah, big things in store for Mr. Pete. Maybe one day I will get to experience that, but I'll be like in my 60s or 70s. So, um,
Yeah. I mean, I haven't told the audience, but
yeah,
it's personal stuff. I don't
yeah,
really talk about my personal life very much, but I guess I'll mention it. I'm getting married,
I know.
so that's my wedding. So I think I'll get divorced very quickly after the fact if I decide to
If
do
you,
an
yeah,
episode
if you
2
did
days
that,
after the friggin'
yeah,
wedding. So yeah,
I
just
think so.
no, don't think it's worth the hassle.
I have to agree. Uh, but it is an exciting thing. Um, it's very exciting.
Yeah, so whenever I was saying like on the episodes before where it was like I'm doing personal stuff, I'm doing this,
Yeah, it's that.
that's what I've
Yeah.
been doing. I've been here, there, and everywhere dealing with yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Denker said, well, Stag was mentioned, so I had a feeling it was
I
that.
mean it could have
Yeah.
been anyone's. Could have been anyone's, but yeah, it was mine. It was mine.
Uh,
And that's why I wore the toad hat.
yes.
That's what they made me do.
That's the excuse anyway. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just bought it for myself
Uh,
and walked around like that just because I wanted to.
I would. You
I know
know,
you
I
would.
would. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fully aware of that.
That's probably why I'm not married. Um,
So next, so are we? So are we going with I can fill the chat or Quest 213 Pete skids in the wet?
oh, I like we can feel the chat. I like that. Dennis, I mean, I figured because Kylie was coming over, and that usually means a con or something important. That's true. That's very true.
Uh, I mean,
Next year.
she yeah. The cons are hopefully next year,
Yeah.
unless it's in May, which well. We'll get to that in due course because
Yeah.
there's definitely not going to be episodes in May for about 3 weeks.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I'm not quite sure that I can record from a undisclosed location
Mhm.
from a various part of the world that I will not tell you where I'm going.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying.
Ah. Well,
Well, we've done holidays like
we have.
holiday streams before, and
Oh
that
yeah, we
yeah
have.
that Xbox watch along. I was actually on holiday at that
Yep.
time recently, so that was a mess. That was an utter mess. Having to message you
Uh,
5 minutes before. It's
I
like,
know.
are we doing this?
It's like, okay.
No,
uh,
it was the fact that you hadn't messaged, and I was
yeah,
just sitting
I
there like,
know.
I'm ready to go.
I know.
Let's do this. And you were like, oh crap.
That's how I live my life. Oh crap moments. Oh yeah,
Oh
and then
yes, I did see 213. Why you nixed?
but I have to say I do like the feeling chat one,
I can
which
feel the chair.
sounds a little pervy, but I don't mean it pervy. Well, I do
I
a
mean,
little
I
bit.
mean, it's
Yeah, I mean
you.
I do a little bit.
It always comes out
I am the
perfect.
queen of double entendres.
The Queen of Berv.
And I think that's one thing that my lovely, beautiful, fabulous chat has figured out, that I love double entendres. I don't like direct graphic stuff. I think that takes the witticism out of it. Um,
Who likes it direct?
well,
Clearly, Nintendo.
there you go.
That
But
was even appalling for my
that was
standards.
terrible. But I have drank two mini bottles of prosecco. I have got to go to the bathroom, so I think we're gonna wrap this part up. Um, but chat, you've been amazing and wonderful, and we have enjoyed having you here.
Immense as always.
Absolutely. I'll be back streaming tomorrow. A scary game. I think it's RE2. I have to look at my schedule. Pretty sure it's RE2. So I hope to see you there. But if I don't, I'll see you sometime this week. So, bye.
Goodbye.